Hey guys, this is Daniel with PwnCNC, and today we're going to install our version 4 spindle kit onto the Shapeoko Pro. The same instructions are basically for the Shapeoko 4 as well, so if you have either machine, stick around and we will walk right through it. We are going to be talking about the installation of our spindle kit onto the Shapeoko Pro. Well, let's talk about what's in your spindle kit. So first you're going to get the version 4 VFD enclosure. That's what we're currently shipping is version 4. If you have an older version, reach out to support and we can help you out with getting it upgraded, because we do believe in upgrade paths for every single customer. On our version 4 enclosure, you will find the plug-and-play power and spindle cable, as well as the PWM signal, which has forward triggers, PWM, ground, that sort of thing. We can talk about that in a minute. We also have a Modbus control, so these are both control ports. One is for Modbus, which is typically Onefinity's, the older black box controller, or a Buildbotics controller. In this case, PWM is pretty much for everybody else. We also have the IoT power strip plug. This just plugs right in. We do include a plug. I have it over here plugged in. You'll see it later. I've actually got it attached to my wire already. But the plug is included. The wire between the power strip and the VFD is not included, but it's just a simple speaker wire, 2-conductor speaker wire. You can find that anywhere. Plus we have some on our website. It's like 17 or 15 cents a foot, something like that. Then of course we've got our manual versus override, our manual override switch. Whenever you need to run the machine, let's say you just want to jog it around and you want to do some additional cuts, or you just want to verify or even run your spindle like a palm router, you can. Just flip that up to manual override. That activates the run, stop, and this dial. This allows you to control the running stop state of the spindle as well as how fast it's going. So again, you can use it just like a palm router, or if you run into any problems and we're trying to help you out with over email, getting your automatic working, this will let you continue to use your spindle regardless of any problems with the automatic. So we can solve your automatic problems through support, but manual will at least let you get to enjoying your spindle kit, right? So that's the version 4 enclosure. We also include not only the spindle motor, in this case this is the 65 millimeter 1.5 kilowatt air-cooled spindle. Very simple install. All of our air-cooled spindles are very simple to install. They only have one cable going between the motor and the VFD, and that is this guy. One side matches the motor, the other side matches the side of the VFD. These are aircraft connectors. They are meant to be vibrated on an aircraft, for example, and not come loose. So if you have any problems with that, just tighten it up. If you continue to have any problems with that, you might look into what's causing the vibration, because these machines should not be vibrating that much. But if they are, put a little dab of Loctite right there on the screws and it holds it right into place. Easy to remove, easy to install. Next we have our control cable. Now this is free with your kit, but if you trigger a discount, this discount drops. So. But overall, you win in the end. The discount is very large, especially if you apply something like our a 10% discount or a 5% from an affiliate if you have one of their codes. But this cable basically runs between the left side of our VFD enclosure over to your machine. Now, each machine has a different connection, different style connection. We have 4 different cables, I believe. For each of them, all the machines that we have had experience with. In this case, on the Shapeoko Pro, basically on all the Shapeokos, you have the Molex connector. Now on the Shapeoko 5, there is a slight modification. We can talk about that later. But the Molex connector is going to be used here on the Shapeoko Pro. Also included with all of your kits is a couple of wrenches. Now these are my ER20 wrenches for a spindle kit behind the camera. I don't actually have my ER11 wrenches here for some reason. They're all over at the warehouse. But these are, we buy these in huge bulk. They're high quality, very thick steel, very strong. We've never had one of these fail. The handle, originally we had some issues with it, but we've had them solved. We solved those problems. And now these are just really nice, comfortable handles. We have these for not only a set for ER20, a set for ER11, but we also have wrench sizes for the DeWalt and the Carbide/Makita router. So if you want one of these wrenches for your palm router, we've got them. Just come and check it out on the store. But your spindle kit will come with two that are matched with your motor. Next, we've got this little plastic piece right here. This is a French cleat. You just screw this up to the wall and your VFD will slide right into that, mounting it right onto the wall. I don't have it here, but there is another little piece that pops right into the bottom here. It locks it in and allows you to screw it and screw lock the VFD up to your wall so that it doesn't get knocked over if somebody bumps into it or something like that. Lastly, we have our power cord. Now this is a power cord that's rated for the amperage that's required for this spindle kit. So if you have please use the cable that comes with your kit. Don't use one that's off from a computer or something like that. They have lower amperage requirements. So be sure to use the thick cable that comes with your kit. So now we've covered the basic components of the spindle kits. Let's jump into actually installing it. You guys have made it possible for us to come out with a great spindle kit and even quit my daytime job, and I'm so thankful for that. Now, the way I am paying you guys back is I am filling the store with a variety of accessories that specifically relate to spindle kits, to dust boots, to basically trying to bring all of the accessories that you would want or even desire in a CNC machine, in our hobby CNC machines, to our store so that you can find it all in one place. So that includes everything from spare collet nuts to collets to even our metalworking collets so that you can get even more precision. Our color jigs, the speed setter, and as well as the colors themselves, and a variety of products that help you out, that make your experience with your CNC better. If you have a product that you would really like to see us carry, just reach out to us at support@PwnCNC.com. We will definitely research it. I am researching the CW3000, trying to find a good supplier that can find it that can supply it in a reasonable manner for those with water-cooled spindle kits. So accessories are coming. If you don't see it, please reach out, let us know. We'll definitely look into it. First up during installation is probably going to be mounting your actual spindle motor. So many machines will have the 65 millimeter spindle mount already for a Makita or a Carbide router, but if yours has the DeWalt router, you may need to pick up a little resizer if you're going to a 65 millimeter spindle if you don't want to purchase their 65 millimeter mount. 99% possibility that they have got a 65 millimeter mount, but if they only have the 69, we do have an option on our website. It's a little plastic insert that fills that gap between the mount and the motor itself, and allows you to actually install a 65 millimeter mount inside of a 69 millimeter. No, yeah, you get the idea. But install that based on your CNC machine's instructions for installing the actual motor. In this case, this is the Shapeoko Pro and the 4. There are a couple screws on the right side that you can loosen up, and that will loosen up grip of the mount. And then you can just drop the motor in. I have got additional accessories on here, including my halo light for the 65 millimeter, as well as my air-cooled body extension. The body extension basically brings the body of the motor down closer to the bit so that you can put on router mounted dust boots like Sweepy or our V7 or whatnot, and it grips right there, gets it lowered down closer to the bit, which gives you a better experience basically. But first thing, get that motor installed. Next up is probably going to be the more complicated part, and that is running your spindle cable here through the cable chain. Now it really depends on the machine you have. If you have a cable chain, if you don't, obviously the Shapeoko 4 and the Shapeoko Pro have both got the dual cable chain. So I've taken the cable chain meant for the motor side, and I've already disconnected all of the pins. This is probably the most time-consuming part. And we're going to make sure that the motor cable is plugged in here in the front. I can find where the little tab thing is. There it is. Tighten that up. Run that cable up and over and give it plenty of clearance so that it can actually go all the way down. Run that through the cable chain all the way down. Again, I'm not going to bore you with the entire thing. We'll speed this up, but run that through the cable chain, run it through the Y cable chain, and eventually it will come out here on the back. Standing from the front, it's the back left side of the screen. Here, next up is on the, I've got the VFD sitting over here on the left side of the machine. I've just got it up on a table so I can have quick access to it and play with it and that sort of thing. So on the right side of the VFD, we have the spindle cable and the power cable. Now there's a power switch right here on the EMI filtering power inlet. So we go add that. That's an unmentioned feature, I guess. But this EMI filter, basically you plug in the power cable right into the side, make sure it's turned off at the moment. Then we're going to have our spindle cable, which we just ran through the cable chain. It only plugs in one way, so you just rotate it until it actually gets in there. Then just tighten down the screw. And that's good for the right side. Now for the left side, we've got a couple things. So I have already plugged in the IoT power strip. I've got a 2-conductor wire, and I've got it screwed right into the terminals. This is the plug that's included with your spindle kit. But this plugs in the 2-conductor wires, just plug that in there. And then on the other side, I have got the 2-conductor wire coming in. It's going right into the IoT power strip, which we do stock on our website. The power strip, it just plugs right in. There's a Phoenix connector right there where you just screw the 2 conductor wires right into the power strip. What I've got is the machine and this IoT power strip is plugged into the same plug. Now this is my Halo light right here, so it's kind of all right there. These are all low power, low amperage items that don't require a whole lot. So I've got my shop vac running back there. It's just the Fine Turbo 1. It's really awesome, really quiet. I like that shop vac. I've got it plugged into the normally off. So there are 2 plugs that will flip on. With our machine, it flips on above 5,500 RPMs. That signal comes across here. It triggers the IoT power strip to turn these normally off to on. But then we also have a couple of other options. We've got normally on, which means when there's no signal, when it's below 5,500 RPMs, this will be on. But when it goes up, this will turn off. So this is a great way to use lights or something like that. Or yeah, I'm still identifying a good use for that. But here's an always on if you need something always on. But these 2 are normally off and gets triggered above 5,500 RPMs. Those are both plugged into a simple power strip, which goes over to one circuit in my shop. So again, the machine, the shop vac, all of it plugged into the same circuit. I do want to mention VFD itself is actually plugged into an extension cord that heads over to a 20 amp circuit here in my garage. It's a dedicated circuit just for this spindle, just for the spindle kit. And the reason being is this thing can take upwards of 12 amps of power. That is a whole lot, and it should be dedicated to the VFD since it's a powered device. We need to make sure we have the proper amperage. So I have the VFD in one circuit, I have the machine and the shop vac in another circuit, and everything works wonderfully. Now, installing our control cable here is also very easy. So we've got our aircraft connector here. Just make sure it's turned in the correct orientation. Plug it into the PWM port for Shapeoko 4 and Shapeoko Pros, basically every Shapeoko, as well as the Elites. Your cable will plug into this PWM port up on top. The one on bottom is actually the Modbus port. So this goes to, specifically it's related to the Onefinity with the black box or the Buildbotics controller. So that's what that bottom one is. But this top one is specifically for PWM. And we're going to run this cable over to our machine. Okay, over here on the right side of the machine, we'll find the Shapeoko's controller. This is the actual controller. There's a USB cable going to a computer. The power cable, yeah, those are flipped. That's the power cable. That's the USB cable. But up here in the front, there's a little Molex connector that's sticking out from the metal. This is where we're going to plug our connector here, and here's our shield drain. So any electrical interference that's received by this cable will drain through this little plug right here. You can simply screw that around. This little screw up here on top is what I typically do. So first I'll plug it in. There's a little notch on there. The notch goes this way, and when you plug it in, you may need to open up your cover and hold on to the back of that Molex connector. This is kind of a poor, I really hate this connector, but I didn't make the CNC machine, so let me do that. Let me pull this off. It's bending more than I would like, and I don't want to break my board. So let's pull the cover off. There we go. Pull the cover off. Of course, the machine is plugged off. It's powered off. So I'm going to hold the back of this cord. I'm going to hold the front, and I'm going to just basically push it all together. So once it's all together, do zip tie this to something so that it's got a nice secure holding place so that it doesn't move, and then you can replace your cover and get back to the next step. Okay, I did forget to mention you can take the cord here and just wrap it around a screw. Just kind of hold it in place and screw it down. Now, if I can get it to the right position, there we go. Get that to wrap around the screw and just tighten it down. There we go. Now we got our shield draining into the machine's ground and into the, and it's got it plugged in, secure that wire, and we're good to go. There is documentation on setting this up in software, but just to go over the connections one last time, we've got our IoT plug, we've got our control cable, we have our spindle cable, and we have our power switch. If you flip that on, we will see the VFD turn on, assuming I've got the other end of the plug plugged in. There it goes. So we have got that plugged in. I've actually still got the film on my controller just so it looks nice. There we go. All right, so just to give you some quick overview of the VFD. So I've got the manual override flipped up, which allows me to control it from the machine here. If I turn this dial all the way counterclockwise, this should read 0. Blinking means that it's in a stopped state. So if I hit run, it will turn to solid. Then when I turn this dial, it will turn the motor. Now, right now, you'll notice that it's showing hertz. This is the actual value. There's a little dot right here by the HZ. If you push this little double button here, it will actually switch over to RPMs. But if you keep going, it'll actually, it cycles between the hertz and the RPMs. So I don't have it going very fast, and of course it's showing the hertz there. So I can turn that off, stop, and then it goes back to blinking state. Okay, so to tell the spindle, and I'll flip it over to automatic mode, to tell the Carbide motion that there is an installed spindle, you basically go into the settings option up here at the top. In the options tab, you will see whether it's got the Carbide compact router, the router with the bit runner, or the VFD spindle. So we're choosing the VFD spindle and hit OK. That's basically it. We're going to load up a simple file, and I've just created a very simple circular pattern design. We can see that just by looking at the the ISO view. And we're going to run a simple little cut. Hit done. So we've got our cut in there. We've got our 201. So let's jog over to the center of the machine, and we'll set that to the 0 position. So I'm going to imagine we're basically going to cut air. So I'm going to hit done. We're in the center of the machine. We're going to set 0 right here. Now I will lower the Z down a little bit so that it's not right at the top of the carve. And we're going to go back to set 0. We're going to set 0 there. Let's go back to run. You'll notice I've already loaded up my NC file. We're ready to start this job. So we're going to hit start job. We're going to hit start. And now it's going to come around to, the machine's going to move up, and it's going to want us to enter in the bit. So there it is. It's asking for us to install the bit. We're going to install the bit. We're going to hit resume. Then we're going to hit run. And the cut begins. I'm going to hit stop, and the carve is done. Hey guys, I hope you found this informative. Installing our spindle kit onto any CNC machine basically follows roughly the same pattern. You install the motor, you install the cable, you plug everything in, you configure your CNC machine, your controller, then run your carves. Every machine is slightly different in the features that it provides. The Shapeokos only provide the PWM signal, which controls the RPMs of it. So you still have to push the stop and start. On our website, we do have other accessories. This is just a simple Cat5 cable. So you can extend this out to anywhere you want to, right next to your monitor, wherever you need it. So you can have quick access to flip it to manual, turn the dial and run it, or on the Shapeokos, hit the run and stop button, so you can easily control your spindle however you'd like. So that is the great part. Again, the IoT power strip and the signal wire is all available on our website. The spindle kit, of course, is on our website. Tons of accessories. Again, if you like what you see, buy it. We are here for the long haul. I quit my day job to do this, so I'm here for you guys. Just reach out. Happy to help. Support at PwnCNC.com or PwnCNC.com. There's an ask button up, link at the top. Just click that and you can ask your questions, and it'll respond that way, or it'll create a support ticket, and either Clinton or I will reach out to you and help you solve any problems you might have. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the content. Let me know. Remember, like and subscribe, do all that stuff. And remember, don't just own your CNC, dominate it.